Welcome to Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Kevin Mclean.
Hello, and welcome to Loud Poets! Oh, I have been saying that a long fucking time, apparently. Thank you so much for coming along. My name is Kevin Mclean. This is Loud Poets. If you don't know that by this point, Jesus. Yes, this is our 10th birthday. 10th birthday. Yeah, right? It was really fun counting the birthdays when we first started. We're like, terrible twos. And now I'm like, oh, I'm going to high school. Oh, holy shit. It's a bit terrifying. But no, it's been a wild ride. Yeah, this is the true test. Normally, check if it's anyone's first show, if people have been before. I'm going to try something. Give me a little cheer if you were at the first Loud Poets. The fucking hardcore among you. Bravo. One of them's my flatmate, one of them's my dad. It still counts. They're people, they came of their own free will. You can prove no different. Give me a little cheer if this is your first ever Loud Poets. Okay, so season 1, right? It was, this is just a recap. The first half is the recap, and then second, new poems. It'll be good. No, it's a bit crazy. It's a bit surreal. Shocker. Not a lot of poetry nights go 10 years. Who knew? But yes, we've managed it. We've bucked the trend 10 years in, and we are still going strong. So it is a massive, massive pleasure for me personally to be here celebrating 10 years with you all. Thank you all so much for coming. Right off the bat, I'm going to point out that you might have seen on the social medias and stuff, unfortunately, one of the core team, because tonight the idea is that it's like the core Loud Poets who are, kind of doing the day-to-day work. We don't actually get to gig a lot together because we showcase a bunch of other poets, and normally we throw one random Loud Poet in, and that's the way it works. So we thought for the birthday, we'll do the 4 of us, and we'll kind of have like a fun night. And then fucking Bex went and got sick. I'm more annoyed than sympathetic, which shows where my priorities are. No, she's fine. She's on the mend, but she fucking brutal, sudden illness. She was in hospital getting surgery, which is it's rubbish. She's fine. She's had surgery. She's on the mend. We have sedated her so she couldn't force her way in here in a surgical gown and start screaming poems at you. But one thing I did want to do, just because it'll be nice, because we're sad that Bex isn't here, but she can be here in spirit. So what I thought we would do, you don't know Bex, she is the writer of poetry for cows, despite not giving a fuck about cows. This book has ruined her life, but I find that very funny. And so normally people send her when they go places and see a cow photo or a cow teddy, they get it and send it to her. So her whole life is now consumed by cows that she doesn't care about. And so I thought what would be really funny while she's sick in the hospital would be if you all recited a cow poem to her. And I have an easy one. So she calls this the eye test for cows, okay? So I'm going to record you, but don't worry, you can't really be seen. You're kind of, oh no, that won't work, Roddy. They're going to need to be seen or else this is going to be the light. So apologies for that, but it's just going to Bex. Don't worry about it. Okay, so this is the eye test for cows. If you could all just read that top line for me. And the second line. And if you really squint, you'll get that third line. I think we all get the point. We love you, Bex. Say hello, Bex. Awesome, thank you. Back into the darkness. Faces. No, thank you. But yes, so Bex isn't here, which means we needed a replacement, and we went OG. We got one of the old school LPers, one of the people that was around when we were founding Loud Poets, when we were getting shit started, coming up with ideas. I think, if I'm correct, he's the dude that actually came up with the name Loud Poets. So we have the one and only Callum O'Dwyer. in the house, stepping into the breach, which is amazing. If you've been to any of our fringe shows, you have definitely seen his face. He is kind of the go-to face of Loud Poets when we need someone to do a weird video for us. So yeah, he is going to be here in a wee minute. But I figured it would just be nice to kind of give you guys an update. Last year was like our most successful year ever. Thanks. No, it was really cool. We did, if you were around for it, we had a huge slam series. You can see the belt, the beautiful Loud Poets Championship belt that Rosie Joe Hunter won. I have prized it out of her fingers for the evening. But yes, it was huge. We had like the biggest audience we've ever had. We've done the most shows we've ever had. We gave someone £3,000 for winning a slam. We worked with over 200 poets. We did just a whole array of absolutely crazy things. Easily our biggest year ever. And then at the end of the year, we didn't get funding for this year. Yeah, which was a bit of a bummer after such an incredible year. Our slam series, we went all over Scotland doing regional heats, working with local open mics, trying to find and connect up the Scottish scene. We put a huge amount of that work out for free so people could see scenes that they're not able to go to. If you want to know what it looks like in Inverness at a poetry night, you can jump on our YouTube channel, check that out and see the amazing talent up there. We brought them all down to Edinburgh for this incredible slam in August. We've been putting on showcases. We took fucking Joelle Taylor to a cafe in Dumfries, which was crazy. Bogdan Piasecki, he won the Forward Prize for the best poem performed of the year, and he performed it at a Loud Poet show in fucking Greenock, which is amazing, with our very own Jack Hinks. That was so cool. We won the Saboteur Award for Best UK Regular Spoken Word Show, which is crazy. We won the City of Edinburgh, the Creative Edinburgh Collaboration Award for our work with the Edinburgh International Book Festival, and Creative Scotland went, nah, which is a pity. So there's two things you can do in that sort of situation. You can accept that you don't have the money to do all these kind of cool events and not do them. Or you can go, fuck it, we'll try anyway. And if you have been coming to our shows for 10 years, you'll know that we're the kind of, fuck it, we'll do it anyway crowd. So, yeah. The first year we ever received funding was the year after lockdown. 2020 was our first ever funded season. And if you're paying attention, this is the 10th year, which means a lot of those years, no money. And we managed to make it work. We managed to do incredible stuff. And that is because of you guys. Like, genuinely, the whole first section of Loud Poets existing was people coming to shows. A few of you whooped that were there for that first show. You guys have kept us afloat. If you have ever watched a video, come to a show, hit like on a tweet or a Facebook stat or an X or any of those things, then you have helped keep it going and kept it afloat. And so we are going to do the same this year. We are doing our fucking slam series. We're going to give another poet £3,000 in August, whether we have to take up a life of crime to achieve that. Who's to say? But we're going to be doing it. We are kicking off. And so what we did was 10 years of building relationships, of people like you coming to our shows, has actually given us a bit of clout. And so we're partnering with Stanza to put on the first heat in March. We are going to be at the Stanza, Scotland's International Poetry Festival, doing the first heat. We are partnering with Paisley Book Festival. We're partnering with Dumfries and Galloway Arts Festival, with Aberdeen Performing Arts, with all of these amazing organisations to try and help put on that slam series that was so important. We're going to keep doing shows. If you want to see a show in March, we're going to be working with the amazing people at Tinderbox. Who's heard of Tinderbox Orchestra? They're fucking amazing, and we've been working with them. We're going to be putting on an incredible show in March, the 30th of March, at Central Hall. We're going to be doing a whole mashup of poems and orchestra music. It's going to be fucking crazy. April, we're going to be right back here with another slam. We're going to be here for Fringe. We're going to be doing all of this stuff. So if you want to see it continue, come, buy a ticket, jump on YouTube, give us a like, tell a pal that you've enjoyed the stuff, because it is only through that we can guarantee. Funding is lovely when it comes, but butts and seats is what keeps arts alive in this country. So a big thank you to you, whether this is your first time coming to Loud Poets, whether you've been here a million times before. This has been 10 years of my life. I am full-time on I Am Loud, on Loud Poets, as is the rest of the team. This is all we do, all the time. Bex is in a hospital somewhere, probably looking at emails despite me telling her not to. Just a huge thank you from all of us to you guys for coming along. Thank you. It means the world. So, in that spirit, fuck it, let's get going. Guys, what we are going to be doing is we've mixed up the format a little bit this evening. What we're going to do to kick things off is we have 4 Loud Poets, and we are going to give you the first poems they ever did at a Loud Poet show. Ooh. Bearing in mind some of them, that was 2014, so they're liable to be shit. No, it's infuriating. All these guys are very talented right from the off, so it'll be the first one they did. I started Loud Poets February 2014. I had been writing since August 2013. I know. Real fucking swim before you can run kind of thing. And so I had a grand total of 3 poems when we did the first show, outside of sort of collab pieces, which means if you've been coming to these shows regular, you've fucking heard it already. Probably multiple times. So old is this poem, it has become my mic check poem. When I go, when I go into venues, I use it to kind of just get the level sorted to the point where the Loud Poets all know it and kind of stand at the back of the room and mouth it along to me and quote it to me in everyday life. Which is painful. Some people would take as a compliment their poetry being quoted, but not when it's done vindictively. There's a tone, you know? So if you know it, fucking sing along. Who cares? Okay. Also, we're going to be doing some throwback pictures. Back then, I had a poem that I did with Doug Gallie called Big Love, about how women should date fat guys. I thought he was fat. Fucking hell, eh? I ate that guy. He's gone. I want to be a mountain. That's why I've fucking been eating. So you and I can stand side by side and make valleys together. I want to be the East Coast of America, so you can be the West. And when separation puts our love to the test, a nation will build railroads for us. I want to be the sun, so you can be the moon. And when we align, the whole world will look up, but it'll be so dark, only we can see what we're doing. I want to be Adam and Eve, before the shame of fig leaves, so we can be the first to experience kiss and touch and love and lust. I want to be Batman. So you can be Wonder Woman and we can make fun of Aquaman together, I guess. What I'm trying to say is, I want you. And I want you to want me too. I want to swim in your eyes, not because they're blue, because they have unexplored depths, and I want to dive to the bottom of you. I want you to be my first sober first kiss. I want you to make up for all the drunken ones I've missed, because I honestly can't think of a drink I want to taste more than your lips. I want to be every blade of grass. So when at last the sun begins to rise, I know you'll be holding me like morning dew, I guess. What I'm trying to say is, I want you. And I want you to know, I don't say this with ease. I was ready to swear off love for good until you swept in like an ocean breeze, blew my line in the sand back into beach again. And I've wanted to tell you this 1,000,000 times before, but instead, I write love poems, and I don't want to have to write them anymore. Thank you very much, guys. Please keep that applause building. Keep that noise going as you welcome to the stage, the one, the only, the OG, Callum O'Dwyer!
Hello. From performing this for the first time at the first LP show to now stands 10 years. A decade. And if I have any advice for someone who want to get started in poetry in your sort of early 20s, please dress as horrifically, as just flabbergastingly as I have, so you can stand in front of an audience 10 years later with the ultimate glow up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what poetry's all about. That's what Keats was about. Sure, I've never read him. But this was a poem I'm about to read to you was written when I had more energy than the poems I read now. But it's got a special place in my heart, even though it's now firmly in the recycling bin. So it's called Love Bite. A few oars of cuteness from the others. It is Valentine's Day weekend, I suppose. So, little hickey before. Anyway, I'll do the poem. Hello. Oh, hello. How are you? And so the laws of conversation assert themselves. A manifestation of the same old, and of course there's nothing wrong with that straight off the shelf basis of exchange. It's a foundation to build upon, like a house, or a cake, or a Jenga tower. Perhaps I'm not as brave to save the discussion from a little dull for risk of apocalyptic awkward. Maybe I'm just tired or pissed off, whatever. The conversation meanders back and forth. What's new? How's your course? When suddenly the tip of an arrow pierces the eye, and where it lies, a small bruise on your neck. Like if your neck was a peach and you dropped the peach and the bruise developed a bruise. The neck is is a metaphor in this. And I start to wonder how you got hurt. Like you're running on a treadmill, decide to take off your shirt, and I know that pain because I still bear the scars myself. And then it dawns on me like a morning sun. I confess, I've never considered this person undressed, but here a memento of a moment's caress turned rough with the distress of impressed ivory teeth and a live tongue, dropping the pressure, dropping the ball, dropping the penny. And like bubbles surfacing in a lake, an idea germinates and roots erupts a whole continent of blood and red, like communism. A moment you can wear like a badge, quietly exhaling the breath of your lover before they bite. And that duality of love and pain, and love is pain, as love is pain, as you try to ascertain and contain and explain what the fuck this whole love thing is anyway. Is it biological or psychological or even the merest bit logical? Or maybe it's all a trick to get us to buy more roses and Clinton cards. Or maybe our genes misfiring and an evolutionary need to procreate with a mate you don't fucking hate. Or a rationalization of a social imposition, instructing pretty boys and pretty girls are destined for each other and will discover the light of the universe between the bed covers. Or maybe it's chemical imbalance or temporary madness, or maybe a little bit of everything. And this multi-shaded, multicolored collage of blacks and purples and yellows and pinks surfacing across your neck where hundreds of thousands of blood vessels lie shipwrecked, shattered against sharp white teeth. I realise I've been staring at your neck for far too long now. And amidst the mists of awkwardness that have inevitably descended, I managed to guffaw a goodbye. But I see you and Love Bites in a whole new light. And, I hope you all do too. And if you still think they're too obscene to be seen, well, think, could be worse than that. At least I can hide the whip marks on my back.
Yeah, 2014 Loud Poets was a lot of sad white guys doing love poems. We needed a place to be. It's not our fault the world is hard. Proving that wasn't all we were. Our next poet, she is genuinely a poet I have been blown away by since the first time I ever saw her read, and I am still so captivated whenever I get the chance to see her perform. She is for me, the best poet in Scotland going today. Guys, please give all the love as we welcome to the stage the spectacular Dr. Katie Ailes!
That was such a beautiful, sweet introduction from the love of my life. I'm now going to perform a poem about my ex. It wasn't just sad white boys, it was also sad white girls. Okay. That's me at my very first Loud Poets in November 2014. Back then, we asked performers to send photos of themselves to project behind themselves in case you forgot what we looked like. I had lived in Scotland for 2 months, and so a selfie with a Highland cow was the peak of cool at that point. So, and nothing has changed. This is for you, brown-eyed boy, for I have written you too many songs of maybe. I have pushed you away with magnet hands, knowing I will never let you go. This is for how you smell like the ocean, your saltwater sweat wet on my body too, and the way I return to you in tides. For how I know the backs of your hands better than mine, your hairline, the way your spine curves in sleep, the way you curve in sleep to hold me. And for the nights I tried not to be held. This is for how your eyes are lightning, never striking, your calm never breaking, love never fading, you never doubted. While I scanned each room for exit signs. Hey, this is for the time we spent all day in bed naked watching James Bond and acting out pussy galore. And for the day you knelt at his wake, and I'd never seen you pray before. Brown-eyed boy, you are the nice boy, rich boy, tall boy, white boy. You are America, shrink-wrapped and sent to my door, and I push you away with magnet hands. This is for you, because you can still find the fault lines through my chest. You know how to quake me, boy. There are tremors even now. This is for your shoulders, for the cello of my body, for the songs used to strum upon it, for how your arms are the only homes I ever want to return to, for when you slept with her. And I never forgave you. This is for when you left, for when I told you not to come back. This is for the apologies, for the empty beds, for the postcards, for the pauses writing postcards, for the fumbling, for ways to say, I think I still love you. I think. This is for how we played tug of war by me just feeding you more rope. And for how you smell like the ocean, and I have been living landlocked so long, brown-eyed boy. This is for all the maybes, and how maybe someday we'll make them into a yes. Cheers.
Katie Ailes, everybody! Good poet, mean person. We're learning about our lineup this evening. Guys, the final act to introduce you to tonight, it is always a pleasure to introduce him to the stage. He is one of my best friends in the world, one of the hardest working people in this scene, and one of the strangest poets you will ever hear read. Please raise the fucking roof for Mark Gallie!
What's up, folks? It's our fucking birthday! It is beautiful to be here at a point where I first sort of
discovered that poets still existed in this very room. I was sort of sat dead center in the middle of the in the middle of the audience here, and I was down here before the start of the show. So the first time I met Kev, he kicks me out of this very theater, and I've been punishing him for that ever since. No sad white guy love poems from me right now. We'll get to that. For now, I've got a piece that I thought would feel more dated. I was sadly mistaken rereading this. The only thing that dates it is it takes place immediately after I left university, which let's say was 10 years ago. This is affectionately called Game of Life. I emerge from university, equipped with my diploma. All the experience I've gained has brought me here. The next level, my greatest achievement. Finally, I am an adult! Until I received a small message that read, "Congratulations on completing the tutorial." I'm sorry, what? This must be a glitch or some kind of mistake, because I'm supposed to be a top-ranked contender now, and this is too much to take. I've trained the last 4 years in the name of gaining fame and critical acclaim, but all I've been left with is a deep sense of shame. My plans gone up in flames with seemingly no one to blame. Is this some sort of sick game? Because if it was, I'd have to give it its dues. I mean, the graphics are pretty good, and the connection only cuts out with the inclusion of booze, but the gameplay is bad. One life, no walkthroughs, and there's too many paths to pick from. How can I choose? Because I'm stuck in this pay-to-play game with a character creation I didn't get to control, but I suppose as a straight white male, the difficulty settings were at least set low, so let's see what adventures this place holds. Okay. Let's give it a go. Nope, sorry, I can't do it. I've got some complaints. I found some bugs that need tweaked, some more that need addressed. I thought being an adult was meant to be more money than stress, and this isn't what I expected. Where does all of my time go? It's taken up by work, sleep, or cleaning the home. It's barely enough time to watch Game of Thrones, the only thing that dates this poem, by the way. And I've tried to be casual, but this is a bit of a horror. A 40-hour work week? Who can be bothered? And I shouldn't have started talking about work, because I'm already sick of that daily grind, doing the same quests over and over again. The only reward, seemingly an exhausted mind. Each time I say, "How can I help you today?" I ask myself, isn't this my story? Or am I just an NPC in someone else's RPG? But to be a key player takes so much effort, and I just don't have steam. You've got to solve all the puzzles, jump the platforms, watch out for that spike pit, do all the bonus stages, choose all the correct dialogue options, complete the time trials, keep relationship levels high, save the princess, fight the dragon, do the work of 100 armed with only basic equipment, and defeat at least 10 bosses. It's all just a bit much. How do people cope? I've no energy to use. There's bad news on TV. There's bigotry as far as the eye can see. And I feel like I constantly need someone to console me. So I called my mum for some real pro tips. And she told me that taking a break might help the cause. But I was left to respond, "Mum, even you know this game doesn't pause." Like a broken keyboard, feels like there's no escape. Still proud of that line 10 years later. But maybe I've been going about this all wrong. Trying to solo a story when it's a multiplayer mission. And it may sound cliche, but at the end of the day, isn't it better to share the loot than to not even play? So let's try going co-op and really finish this. No more one-man wolf pack, man. I've seen the game's code and I've got a plan, but I'm going to need help. So hey, listen. To beat this stage, we have to work together. No more dividing of factions, be any race, class, or gender. Let's group up on fear. Let's calm down on the offensive, because first we need healing over here. And we have that power. This is a system built on choice. Don't mute that group chat. I want you to show me your voice, because while we try and farm gold, the world won't stop changing. It's time I stopped complaining and started really playing. Thank you.
Gallie, everybody!
There was the steam line in that poem separated the people enjoying a reference poem and the fucking nerds. You could hear it in the... What a glorious noise. Wonderful stuff. Mark is your poet. Yes, those are your 4 poets. We are your 4 poets. I'm normally just hosting. I'm confused about the vernacular. We are your 4 poets for this evening. And those are the first poems we all performed at Loud Poets. And so what we thought would be a good way to kind of round this section off is if we all did a poem we've never read at Loud Poets. And as I host all of the Loud Poets shows, I've not got a lot of material here. Kind of fucked. It's good. We do a lot of writing. We do NaPoWriMo. So I imagine maybe some folk, NaPoWriMo buffs in the house. That's a different kind of nerd from the Steam nerds. There's a dividing wall there that Gallie crosses alone. It's basically, if you don't know, National Poetry Writing Month, people write a lot there, and I was going to do something from NaPoWriMo. But then I got a bit of commissioned work. So the last couple of weeks, I was working with an amazing organization called Nourish, who are all kind of about like food consciousness and trying to get people to kind of make sure people are accessing healthy food options. They booked me, I guess, without fucking seeing what's going on. But no, they approached us because basically a thing I didn't know existed was public diners, government-run, subsidized diners. Post-World War I, post-World War II, we had these British restaurants that you could go and get a healthy meal at a reasonable price, which in 2024 is a fucking concept, right? But then it kind of went away, and we've been totally forgotten that these things existed, which is crazy. So I got to do this amazing commission where I wrote kind of about the history of it, why we need them now, and then I went to their conference and there was all these people from sort of food related charities and things like that having this big conference about how you bring them back. And so I, during the day from all their discussions, wrote a poem that kind of was envisaging what it would look like sort of 50 years from now. And so it was a lot of fun to do, and made me really fucking angry that's just kind of been downplayed, a thing that imagine you found out in 50 years that hospitals used to not charge you. You know what I mean? It's that kind of idea. And it's such a basic thing. And so I got really into the writing of these poems. So I thought for my I haven't read at Loud Poets, I would do one of those for you. It does mean it needs to be off the phone. Apologies. But yes, so this is the one... Oh, fuck. I thought one of them must be behind me. Which gives you an insight into how we behave when you're not here. That you laughed and I panicked at my core. Yeah. Shout out to Perry Johnson for being able to make me look way better than I actually look. That's an amazing photo. Perry's been our long-suffering art director. He does, and is sitting over there with his girlfriend. Yes. So this is the middle one. This is the present. So this is called A Plate for Us All. Wouldn't it be nice if the government wasn't so grey? If they could cut loose once in a while, come out and play, if every service we had wasn't as drab as could be, if occasionally they acted like, you and me, we have this notion, frozen, locked in our mind, of government-mandated boiler suits, slaves stuck toiling, wasting away on the line, a conveyor belt society where there's one fit for all, no Action Man or Barbie, just happy, obedient worker doll. What if we imagined, for a second, we were in charge? A fanciful notion, I know. Who would accept something as crazy as people being in control? But just give me a minute and try to play along, and we'll see if we can fix a few of the things that might have gone wrong. The train system sucks. The NHS is on its knees and all the libraries got shut. A bleak start, I'll grant you, and there might be no easy fix, but we never stop trying because we need them all to, stop us from dying, to take us to the places that we need to go, to teach us the things that we need to know, and no one expects perfect. Just some actual effort for the things we all built to occasionally get better. And those are the big ones, whose erosion we resist. But what if I told you there was something you had completely forgotten to add to the list? We have made no provision for a good meal. Isn't that wild? To think there is no basic solution for something so vital, something literally every single person relies on, and you know if we did, it would be proper grim. It would be thin grey gruel served from labelless tins in the draftiest warehouse G4 judgment on your way in. Are you down on your luck? Is down low enough to qualify for basic food stuff? We do Soylent Green, but it costs a bit much. And if you think that sort of service is just for the poor, then you don't understand what it takes to survive anymore. My mum wasn't poor because she worked all the time. And when she'd get home, you know what she didn't have the energy to do? Chop and slice and chop and stew. So we ate food straight from the oven, and that was enough to fill up our bellies, but we missed other stuff. So that all I learned was to stress over food. Bad habits formed. I got stuck in the loop of nuggets are easy, so I guess that'll do. And I eat at my desk because we never had room for a big dining table, though money won't save you from all of that pain when you have the space, but are alone all the same. So wouldn't it be nice if there was somewhere to go? Not fluorescent lights and cubicles, but a place with a soul, where you don't dread the question, what's for dinner tonight? Where you could be part of a community, where every kid gets fed right, with a plate for us all, and no grey in sight. So, we are in store for some absolutely unheralded loud poets poems. Please put your hands together. Welcome back to the stage, Callum O'Dwyer!
This is when I should have checked that I could work the microphone stand before we did the show. So this next poem is one that I've never performed at Loud Poets before, and it's kind of because it precedes it. It's from 2012. There's a classic thing that a lot of folk do, especially like young, trendy student types, where they'll be like, oh, you know what's good source material for a poem? My degree. And like 4 people in the audience will be like, I have the same degree. This is the best thing I've ever heard. So this is one of those. And I'm sure you're looking at me and going, oh, I can guess a degree. I can share, that weird nervous energy and the kind of aggressive directness. Yes, I'd studied engineering. Whoa! And this is called The Engineer's Love Poem. Oh, Valentine's Day weekend. Second time I've mentioned it, but I've not threatened to give you a hickey this time. So, peak late. That's my advice. Here we go. I am really quite fond of you, and I thought, hey, do you know what would be fun if I wrote you a poem? Because that's what people do when they want to be sincere, like in a get well soon card or at a funeral. Only, hopefully this will be less morbid. Hopefully. And I don't see why all the English Lit students should have all the fun. You know, while I'm in the lab struggling with Variate, they talk of T.S. Eliot. So I have engineered you a poem. Here it is. So I hope I'm not presumptuous, because that's the last thing that I would want. It might nullify assumptions, some arbitrary variables I may have farted out for my model to work, but hold on. It's like the line between theory and practice is a chasm you could fall into and crash a little, and I wouldn't want that. It's not great getting things wrong. In theory and practice are the same. In practice, they can be quite different. So how about let's reduce and simplify? Let's take my heart and draw a free body diagram, perhaps, and apply the forces. Okay, so here go this. Applying directly downwards is the weight of my heart, or mass times gravitational acceleration. The mass includes every nick and slice and smash and tear, which has caused scar tissue to grow tough and fibrous. And you should mind this, but not worry, because the gravitational acceleration by Newton's laws increases the force of admiration between two bodies with proximity exponentially. Meaning, the closer we get, the more we feel. And having a heavy heart only increases inertia, better overcoming the infliction of friction forces, slowing you down. How about if I were to tell you that I'm not afraid of having my heart broken, but instead fear my actions would have unexpected reactions and cause such strain it would exceed yield stress and cause plastic deformation? Wait, a bending beam seen through another perspective is a smile spanning your face like a bridge. Or maybe thermodynamics, and please do not fly into a panic with me here, and bear with me. The second law says spontaneous processes occur in the direction of decreasing quality of energy. Heat will warm a cool area. So if we combine the enthalpy of our hearts, we might reach equilibrium. A man once said, "Do I dare disturb the universe?" But honey, entropy is only getting larger, for our decisions and revisions are irreversible. As much as we deny it, everything we do affects our surroundings, even just quietly. The heat of a hot coffee spoon used to measure out the days will disperse in admittedly, infinitesimally minuscule ways, warm the universe. Which you might think is negligible, but that's a matter of parameter definition, baby. And you are unique in holding the paradoxical qualities of being both hot and cool at the same time. Honey, you would make a great heat engine. Or fluid mechanics. It's not much, but with the advent of touch, veins constrict. Restrict area, thus blood flow increases, peaking at a maximum when the parabolas of our lips meet. This method of manufacture is flawed, I fear. Such are the limits of loving an engineer. So as a backup, I built you a go-kart. Enjoy.
Please keep that applause building, keep that noise in the room as we welcome back to the stage the undeniable Mark Gallie!
Well, there's someone that embraced the Loud Poets brand real quickly, didn't he? We just need you to scream at people. Brilliant. Hello, I'm back. So the poem I have that's never been performed at Loud Poets is a slight bit of deception because it's never been performed like in the physical space. It exists only on the online space because we couldn't do performances at the time this poem was written. As Kev sort of alluded to earlier on, we do so many things here. And one thing we did, the first project that we got that funding for was something called Return to Form, which is where we got a bunch of different artists all paired up and they were given a form to show that two different artists, even starting with the same form, could end up with wildly different results. All of that exists on our YouTube with fantastic video accompaniment by, shout out again for Perry Johnson, who is just awesome at what they do. So please do go check them out for the visuals of that. But the form that I was given alongside Malika Kagodi was list poems, which for those that don't know is kind of just like, it's just a list. It's really, they're all there in the title. And when I thought of a list, I think similar to everyone, the first thing that comes to mind is dinosaur theme park health and safety legislation. Was that, no one else went there straight away when they thought, wow, numbers, I guess. So, for your entertainment, this is Last Accident. 8 days since last accident. New health and safety representative, Dr. Michaels, reporting. I was nervous until yesterday. That was some orientation display. To see such magnificent monsters, it's hard to explain. But I understand what needs to be done, and there is still work to do. 21 days since last accident. It's only been 3 weeks, but workplace biting is down 78%. If we could get rid of Tom, that would be higher, but I think I'm getting to grips with this gig. It's not without complications. These creatures are complex, the cost of progress, I guess. You'd think they'd be grateful. One mistake will tell you you're wrong. 34 days since last accident. We nearly had to reset this count yesterday. One of the new recruits got sloppy. I guess they didn't think too long why that job was open in the first place. Disaster averted due to the quick thinking of Wrangler Cope. A pretty great first impression. Perhaps not everyone here has a death wish. 42 days since last accident, just past the halfway point, in no small part to Wrangler Cope. They really are something special. The bond they have with the assets, it's like there's a connection. A two-way reflection showing both sides of the same soul separated by 65 million years of silence until they get hungry. 57 days since last accident, the new Don't Face Away from the Cage initiative is underway. One of the many safety suggestions from Cope. I could listen to their suggestions for days. I realized I started overfilling the kettle in the morning so we'd have more time to talk. Caught myself staring at the boiling pot, trying to make the moment last a little longer. 66 days since last accident. They did it. A semi-successful test. No casualties, just. But that's not enough. There are no margins for error on this page, and for once, Cope and I are not on the same one. I say delay. They disagree. Their bravery and moxie is intoxicating, brings happiness like a fully stocked supply room, but they don't understand the safety of the red tape, meant to secure, not restrict us. Just, please, I just want to keep everyone safe. 80 days since last accident. This won't work. I have to say something before it's too late. I'm taking a risk. What if it isn't reciprocated? What if it all goes wrong? What if is for before all of this. Before we decided to make weapons out of history and do God's job in a mission that only brings misery, if not to us, then to these animals. It's not their fault. You taught me that. I'm sorry it's taken me this long to say something. 0 days since last accident.
And rounding off our quartet of new poetry, please welcome back to the stage the one, the only, Katie Ailes!
Thank you guys so much. It's our birthday, but more so it's an opportunity for me to show off every single jumpsuit in my closet. Spend months writing funding applications, so I'm gonna show off my jumpsuit. This is a brand new poem written over the past couple of weeks, and I'm gonna shift the tone a little bit here. Tonight is a celebration, and that is full of joy and mirth and humor, but it doesn't mean that we're numb to what's happening in the rest of the world. This is a poem for the people of Palestine and specifically for the people of Gaza. One of the most powerful, thank you, in this assault, as with so many other wars and slaughters, really, we are consistently being told that what is happening is necessary to bring about peace. We need to destroy the enemy and then we will have peace. War is essential for peace. And this is a consistent logic that we keep getting, which is completely paradoxical, yet often goes unchallenged. I was raised in the Quaker faith, which is a pacifist faith. And there's a saying which has been stuck in my head over the last couple of months, which is, there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. So this is peace for Gaza. It's simple, really. This bomb, see? It's essential to achieving peace. This bullet, too, a quick, efficient peace. This AR-15, this artillery shell, this propelled grenade, all pregnant with peace. This rifle, peace. The sniper focusing it, peace. The boy's back blooming open like a hideous lily is peace. This missile, peace. This pistol, peace. This spilling grain from the cratered aid truck, peace. These raised olive groves, peace. Those broken, rubbled homes, peace. Those closed barbed wire borders, peace. Those unexploded mortar rounds embedded in the ground, all seeds of peace. This mangled street, the path to peace. This body bag, the flag of peace. These sirens blaring the prayer of peace. This long-range rocket, peace. This shot-up hospital, peace. This cloud of white phosphorus, peace. Peace. This shiny gun, this glut of blood, this gut unspooled, this crumpled school, this unheard cry, this screaming sky, this starving child, this genocide, this weaponry, this refugee, this killing spree, this enemy is necessary for peace. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody! Yeah, I know Katie speaks for us when, you know, like we absolutely stand in solidarity with oppressed people facing horrible stuff and in sort of shock at the horror going on in far too many parts of the world. We take very seriously our job to try and bring some entertainment, some happy space to go to within that, and I hope that is... art is a very powerful tool, and if anything over the last 10 years has taught me is that art can change minds, it can lift spirits, it can buckle governments when applied properly, and which is often why, you know, they don't want to give you money for it, which is not specifically us, but just in general, cuts and stuff kind of come in, and you see, you know, how quickly artists, and it has been very inspiring to be part of this community and see artists responding to what's happening right now in Palestine and seeing those responses. Katie and I are both going to be, like we were saying, we're having our slam up at Stanza. We're going to be taking part in some events with Palestinian writers and trying to like make sure that continues to be part of it, because, you know, life without art isn't worth a huge amount. And in these sort of situations, when that is stripped away, it puts that into stark reality. So yeah. But for this evening, we carry on. And so just to give you guys a minute breath, a little beat, we thought what we would do is play a little video. So Mark, some of you might know, is usually kind of behind the cameras here at Loud Poets. And so we were like, you know what would be fun, Mark? If you took like 10 years of footage and photos and just kind of cut that into like a little 3-minute video for us. Wouldn't that be fun, Mark? I don't remember exactly what he said, but he did it. And so I figured what we'd do is give you a little breath. I'm going to play that video, and then I will come back and check in with you guys. All right? Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to episode 4. Let's start that again.
This one's particularly dumb.
Look at the camera. Look at the goddamn camera.
And lastly, I've forgotten the question.
It's all going so... Everything's going so well!
Hello and welcome to the Loud Poets Emporium, Inspiration Emporium.
Every now and again, there comes a revolutionary product which changes everything.
Emotion by Loud Poets.
Big round of applause for Mark Gallie. It's been a bit of a 10 years. Hey guys, we're coming to the end of this first half, and obviously the second half is all the sets that we have, and I thought I would just close this first half by giving you mine. So the other three are going to fill out that second half, but before the interval, I thought I would give you my little feature set here. And there is one missing ingredient that we do need for the feature sets. He doesn't normally get to come out in the first half. He's normally a second half treat if you're really good. But I think if we make enough noise, we might be able to summon him. So I need you to go absolutely fucking mental and welcome Mr. Jack Hinks! Look at his wee face. Oh, he's a baby. What happened? I happened, yeah. Oh, Jack, what age are you in that for? That's 2015, right?
Oh, shit. I would have been just turned 20.
We're having very different reactions. Just so you know, that's disgusting. Wow. What's if you had to sum up 10 years of LP in one word, Jack, what would that word be?
Exhausting.
Away, please, Roddy. My set. No, Jack, come back, Jack, come back. A little light on him, Roddy. A little, just enough. There. Jack is going to be helping out our poets by doing his thing. You guys know what's happening. I'm going to stop. Didn't plan a set, Jack. This is me building suspense, not figuring out what I'm doing. Those are unique things. Yeah. Okay. Go for trip. Why not? I trip, and as I fall, my live action "You've Been Framed" becomes a still picture, outlined in public shame. I become a statue, a tribute to all those who lifted up the gauntlet to the challenge of walking and were found wanting. Step follows step. It's easy, son. That's what Dad used to say, step follows step. That's how you learn to make your way. So I did step, followed by step, followed by trip, followed by land, followed by skin hands. And I would ask him, what are these? What are grazed hands, chins, and knees? And he would say, proof. Proof that easy doesn't always mean problem-free. Just like hard doesn't always mean failure guaranteed. Every cut is a lesson. And you're just a kid. So here's lesson number 1. You gotta crawl before you walk and walk before you run. And as I fall towards the ground, I think, fuck. If only I'd slowed down. And I get the cosmic joke, it just doesn't make me laugh. I get that time stood still to make me appreciate the time that I have, and it's no ghost of Christmas past, but it's coming to meet my face, so this big grey expanse is making me consider a slower pace. And if the universe will give me one more chance, I'll take the time. I'll take the time to write more. I'll take the time to laugh more. I'll take the time to hug more. I'll take the time to tell people, take your time. Because it's amazing what you'll miss. And it goes off like a flash in my brain, running home one night from the club trying to avoid the rain because God forbid I get wet. And I see the girl I should have stopped to speak to, and she is goofing around, not giving a shit that the city's being drowned and our lives are washed clean that night. I see a play I never saw. I meet a man I never met. He offers me my dream job, and I run home to tell the girl who wasn't afraid to get wet. And I see us making love and the kid that creates. And as I help him to his feet and wipe a tear from his face, I tell him, step follows step. It's easy, son, if you take your time. A life that should have been mine, but time will only ever always move in a straight line. I hit the ground. And though my hands feel that familiar pain, I take the time to smile. Because I feel it start to rain. So over lockdown, I watched a lot of YouTube. What a rare occurrence. I completed it. And one particular video got stuck in my brain. There's a video about a cave in France called in a place called Lascaux. And in this cave, these two young guys, after the Second World War, they found these cave paintings, these beautiful images of animals and plants, all up high on the ceilings, covering all these walls, handprints, these sort of negative images of handprints. And there was something about it that kind of got stuck in my brain, this idea of in a time where like the barest necessities were hard, bare necessities, were the hardest thing to get, you know, the hard just to like kind of cling to life. And they took time and effort and resources to make art. And during the pandemic, that was an acute reflection that I was feeling. And so I kind of got it stuck in my brain and wrote a poem about it, because poet's gonna poem, I guess. So this is Lascaux. Walk in the dark. It's only soil and stone. Call out and hear only your own echoing tone. This inhospitable hole is the furthest thing from a home. Musty air that swirls with dust, tunnels strewn with bones. This place is old. But so are we. And all we ever needed was the light to see. Flickering flame casts a glow that travels back to the fear of the pack, the bite of the cold, the warmth of the gathering, the joy of a story told. Fire stretches its fingers and black walls flood with color. The collected work of generations, an art installation 18,000 years in the making, a painstaking effort in a time so hard to survive. No reward in mind, just a way to say we were alive. Or perhaps there was a purpose, a guide to the flora and fauna that could hurt us, lessons too painful to trust to words spoken. A hall of bulls might simply be the symbol of a single heart broken. Maybe they're a map, a plan of attack, the animal's easiest to track, time spent now but with full-bellied interest, later paid back. There is no way of knowing for sure, but these are not the images that act as Lascaux's lure. No, it is the hands. They are reaching, grasping, pulling directly from the past, the red pigment-blasted absence of a person's pressed palm upon the rock, the thought that you can touch the stone face and place yourself in the exact space of someone so unrecognizable, someone who died before history had begun, but who felt compelled for some memory to be held long after they were gone. How could that be anything but humbling? How could you still your hands from trembling? Would your mind flash to a nursery class of 21st century children, placing painted palms on paper later to be displayed not on cave walls but magnet-held to family refrigerators? Would you still see unfathomable distance? Or would you finally understand there has only ever been an arm's reach between us? So, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this poem or not, but those that know me a long time will know that Loud Poet's actual birthday, the first gig we ever did, was the 22nd of February 2014, which is the same date as my mum's last birthday, which kind of has this weird bittersweet connotation to it, where I started this kind of chapter kind of as she was coming to the end of hers. And so in August 2014, we did our first ever Fringe run. And it was here at the Storytelling Centre. This has been our home for 10 years. And my mum saw one Loud Poet show. She sat in the audience. She came. She saw the show. A few days later, she had a stroke and she passed away. And that was part of that first Fringe run. And it's been this kind of wild ride where I'm so grateful she saw that glimpse, that little bit, this thing I was so excited for, that I'd found poetry, this art that I was obsessed with, that it just caught me. But then as time goes on, it's not as painful. You learn to cope, but there is always this track, this line of the distance from what she saw to where I am. And I feel it acutely today, this 10th anniversary, that she caught that glimpse. She never saw Mark or Katie perform, or Bex. She never met Jack. She never got to see us go and do Prague and Brighton. She never got to see us win awards or put on a huge slam. And so I feel that acutely. So if you don't mind, I'm going to be a little somber and do a poem for her that I wrote after she passed away. And that will be sad, but then you will be able to go and drink. So kind of balances out. If you think about it. Hey guys, I'm gonna do the poem and then probably just fuck off because I'll be sad. So I'll say is we're gonna go into the half, go into the interval. The poem's sad. Hug a pal. Do a thing. As I said, Loud Poets, we kind of need the support this year more than ever. So if you want to sign up to the mailing list, if you haven't done that, if you want to find out where you can see more Loud Poet stuff, head upstairs, have a chat to us, figure out where to do that. We have books for sale if you want to do that. Anything like that would help. But for now, can I just get a big round of applause for Jack? Look at him. I haven't read this in a long time, so if I fuck it up, sorry. I was 26 years old when I finally felt the weight of you. And while you were always small, I knew my strength alone wouldn't be enough to carry you. So I stood 3 by 2, led with my left. Right behind my uncle, I left behind all the crosswords said. And right after I laid you down to rest, I left breath on your brand new pinewood chest. Hardest day of your life, they say. Like it'll go away. Like tomorrow isn't just another hurdle for you to climb. Like time hasn't unfurled itself right in front of your eyes and left a war zone in your way. Walls, barbed wire chains made out of birthday parties, Christmas holidays. No choice but to wade through the mud of past joys you have forgotten to not remember. See, I don't write anymore. Instead, I stab and tear at the pages I chose to scribble my life upon. And as ink dries, the only words that reach bloodshot eyes are the lyrics to your song. And the intro starts in my chest with the drum beats. Notes claw up my throat and crash into clenched teeth that ends in a scream. See poets paint with colors of emotion. But how can I create art when you have left me only one? And it is storm cloud grey. Until just like ships that sail stormy seas, I see nothing but uncertainty in front of me. I am unfinished. Not half the man that I would be if you were still here to oversee how I rise to the challenges life throws at me. I am unfinished. Like every poem I write, wholeheartedly startled only to be quickly discarded when I realize I have nothing left to say. I am unfinished. We are both too far away to keep carving. This is the first of the poems you will never hear. And I fear, like me, they will remain.
Welcome back to the second half of Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Kevin Mclean.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of Loud Poets! Don't worry, I'm gonna be chipper. All's fine. Did we all have a nice break? Did everybody get a beverage? Did everyone buy a book? Oh, I see. Thank you. No, yes, I hope you had a wonderful break. I hope you got a beverage. I hope you hugged a pal. I hope you signed up to the mailing list, all of that good stuff. But we are back for the second half. And as, you know, things are a little different, like we were saying. We're kind of messing around with some stuff. I'm about to reintroduce Jack, but Jack isn't going to cross the stage in his normal exuberant fashion and sit himself down on the stool. No. We thought this once, since it's been 10 years, I guess we might let him do a song. I mean, it is Loud Poets. But I guess allowances must be made. Again, you all seemed really into the idea. Maybe we should do Loud Musicians or something. Pivot. No time. But for now, enjoy the wonderful musical stylings of the one and only Mr. Jack Hinks!
Oh no, I hadn't prepared any shtick. I just wanted to say that it's been absolutely lovely to be here today and be here for the last, well, not all of us are 10, some of us are 8.5. But I have been with LP for 8.5 years, so it would be lovely to play a song for you in the many years that I haven't been asked to play one. So I'm gonna try and soak up as much this time as I can. I'm gonna play you a song called "The Emperor." 2 people have heard this song. Excellent. So this is a piece that we ripped apart and collaborated with Bex Bidgood. So there's the Empress, which is the poetic form, and I thought it'd be nice to share the full original song. This is part of an upcoming album, which is coming out this year. I will die if it doesn't, but it's coming out this year. It's going to be called Kintsugi. It's the 5 Stages of Grief by the Kubler-Ross form as a cyclical album. So hopefully, if you like this, you'll like the rest of it. You'll like it when it comes out, and I can actually get around to doing it. But this is, the Emperor. Hope you enjoy it. racing hearts and shifting lanes. And I wasn't better than an experienced fool. All I had I owed to you. And now you're waiting in a pool, a puddle that I thought we'd built, a life I filled with weather and overflowed. The mud I swallowed turned to gold. The emperor is upside down. Now we don't fit in this town. One of us has fallen through the earth. Shuffled all of the thoughts I could stand till you revealed your sleight of hand. Call it one more sword and get your coat. All of the seeds I had laid outgrew mistakes I had made, and now I'm stuck atop a tree and can't climb down. And you look small beneath me now. Standing up with broken ribs and hourglass guts. I bled so much sand I forgot to count. Is upside down. Now we don't fit in this town. One of us has fallen through the earth. Shuffled all of the thoughts I could stand, but you revealed your sleight of hand. Call it one more sword and get your coat. Thank you.
Give it up for Jack Hinks! Amazing stuff. Jack is one of those disgusting, multi-talented people who like sing and play an instrument and write poems and take photographs. Ugh. But if you're into that kind of thing, then I would suggest you support him. You can go and find out all about Jack, all where his wonderful stuff is. Like he's just such a prolific artist. You could jump on Spotify, listen to his stuff, so he can make tiny fractions of pences every time you do. I'm sure he would appreciate it. One day you'll be able to afford a whole guitar. I'll stop doing the jokes, Jack, when they stop laughing. Oh! For those that don't know what that was a, well, I have all my fingers joke. Or in other words, mocking the disabled.
I should preface this.
No, into the darkness! also into Jack now, are we? Oh, too good. Gallie, when you're editing later, could you just clip this bit for me? Just for my own personal enjoyment. Thank you. Guys, are you ready for your next poet? Then please give all that energy, all that love as we welcome back to the stage the wonderfully weird, the magnificent Mark Gallie!
It's not my fault he's freakishly tall. Oh, hi. Yes, I'm back. Poems. That's probably what you're expecting, and that is what I plan to deliver. I'm attempting an ambitious amount of poems. We'll see if that happens. But I promised you sad white guy love earlier, and I feel it would be bad on me if I didn't deliver on that promise. So Jack.
You know what I do.
Yeah. Thank you, Roddy. You know the one. You know, yes, sad, unrequited love. That's the three tones. You got me? So a tiny amount of context for this one is this poem is from early days. That'll become apparent probably within the first line roughly how old this is. And it was nearly a contender for one of the first poems I wrote or performed at Loud Poets. Sadly, it became one like the second or third one. And it's one that I don't perform a huge amount. I will make the joke as to why at the end and leave you wanting more. So you will have to do what the title of the poem is, which is wait. Hi, my name is Mark and I've waited for 26 years. That's 9,490 days, or 227,760 hours, or 13,665,600 minutes, or 819,936,000 seconds, 1,200 of which were spent calculating the previous. But who's counting? To put that into some perspective, that's over 340,000 Netflix episodes we could have watched. It's over 75,000 hours I haven't slept next to you, and it's more nights than I'd care to say, tracing your face in the stars, waiting for the sunrise of the day that we'd meet. But we haven't met yet. I waited through a childhood relatively carefree with no idea what love could even be, just week after week of playing hide and seek. I guess you were always better at hiding, and I never was very good at looking. From the school of hard knocks to the university of drunken hazes, sleepless nights, first dates, heartbreaks from girls as great as they were, but had the same thing in common. They weren't you. And now I'm an adult, still playing hide and seek, despite Tinder uninstalling itself due to inactivity. Twice. And I'll bet you didn't even know it could do that once. I kept waiting, but I've started putting it to good use. I took up running so I can be prepared for the moment you take my breath away and so I can catch you when you do. I took up performing, so when the time came for us to finally meet, I would be able to find the courage to say all the right words. But we haven't met yet. We nearly met 1,000,000 times. The time you forgot your phone and so missed your regular bus, well, I was on that bus, going the wrong way to someone who never had any of the right directions. Or the time you saw a picture of the kitten on skis, so stopped to send it to your friend just as the light changed from green, and I was on the other side, 6 hours late for the first day of the rest of my life. Now, I am a man of no regrets. I truly believe that one moment inspires the next, and it's the time that it takes that makes those moments so great, but I can't wait to meet you. Because I know when we do, you'll break through my walls of wait and see with a hair flick. Remove my arm, or maybe love just wasn't meant for me with a smile, and have me drop my shield of I've been hurt before with just the way you say hello. We'll meet in a comic book shop, or a cafe, or more likely a bar. We'll reach for the same comic book, you'll order my favorite drink, or be wearing a t-shirt that I will have too much time for, and it all begins from there. The first debate over who the better pancake chef is and the vow to settle that score one day. Or the first of many arguments over who would win in a fight. Goku or Superman. I will know that the answer is Goku. But you'll pause for a second, say Superman, and I will find myself unable to tell you you're wrong. Our first kiss will be in a park, or outside that same coffee shop, or after a poetry show. Either way, it'll be like lightning striking the ground at our feet. Caught completely unprepared, somewhere between excited and scared, and no idea how well those two could gel together. Our lives will be a canvas painted from music and video games, a novel written from spontaneously bursting into Disney songs and you learning to tolerate my terrible puns. A tapestry, Lilo and Stitch, from traveling the world and continued debates over fictional characters, all of that culminating in our one great masterpiece when you give me the yes to the hardest question I will ever ask, and I will know in that moment that all of the waiting was worth it. But we haven't met yet, and I'm beginning to worry we never will. Thank you. It is always a pleasure doing that poem with your fiancé in the room. Especially because technically, I did write that after we met. Technically, if you timeline it. Anyway, moving swiftly along. Moving swiftly along. No, Roddy, you can keep the lights up on Jack. I'm going to make him earn his imaginary pennies today. Thank you very much. Can we a shout out for our beautiful technician, Roddy, as well, in the booth. Keeps the lights on at Loud Poets. Ha ha. He's going to put the lights off on me for that one. I can just feel it. Anyway, right, okay, powering through. There is no time for humor or laughing. We have poems to do. Damn it! I've been Mark Gallie. No. Okay, we're gonna go. The next one I'm gonna do is one that again for the Kev brought up a commission that he did. And this is what a commission that I did a few years ago for the John Muir Trust and the Scottish Ecological Design Association. The long story short of it is I'm originally from the northeast, just outside the Highlands, and they were approached because the Highlands are running out of wildlands, which you know is like an environmental problem when the Highlands are running out of wildlands. And so they wanted a poem to kind of like highlight that for, to highlight the problem. And so this is words from the weary wildlands. Once I could hold you in one hand. It's strange to think of you like that now, as bouncing baby beings bounding out of cold ocean to boldly go forth and prosper. Each foot pressed into sand, toes pointing forward, gripping each grain as if even one step backwards was admitting failure. Those were some shaky first steps, though, and I have seen more than my share of Bambis on ice. You were so small, so fragile. Still, with each slipped sole, you stamped heavier tread and found ground to keep you steady on my shores. I remember welcoming you into my embrace, giving you shelter in my branches, rustling my leaves, hoping you could finally dream of something other than surviving. Gave you feast in the fruits of my fields and the beasts of my being. You took to gathering well. Hunting took a little longer, but it was clear even back then which one you enjoyed more. The food chain rattles and sings when you add a new link. I should have been more concerned with your first word. It sounded different back then, more. But I was so overwhelmed, so thrilled to hear you speak, so happy to see you healthy. I forgot to teach you please and enough. I wish you could remember me back then. When kingdoms of creatures claimed home to my crags, the vast expanse of my foliage covering from sunrise to sunset. Season to season, I would paint the plentiful plentiful hills, pastel hues, dance to the touring bird song and hum to the tune of harmony, the true beauty of balance. Can't dance anymore. Too small, too fragile. My land's dry and cracked habitat snaps from existence. My poor swollen peat ache under the weight of your innovation. Once I could hold you in one hand. Now you are too big to carry. You've grown so much. Haven't lost that sense of adventure. You've shaped cities from the soil, bloomed communities by the riverbanks. You gave magic a new name in science. You tamed the sun, wind, and waves, paving way and making space, carving your place in history just like when we first met. Trying to build a world for those to come. You didn't know what that meant then. You do now. A course corrected, still sails straight. You have been facing forward for so long, you have forgotten how to be still and listen. So hear me here. Once I could hold you in one hand. Now I need one from you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, Kev has alluded to my weirdness and my strangeness far too much for me to have come out and just be like, ha ha ha, love me. So, are we ready to get weird? Who wants to hear about my biggest problem with the horror film industry? Good, because that's what you're getting. And the complaint is thus: why are there no modern ghosts? Why do none play haunting host a place of residence post the 1930s? Because not to be morbid, but 55 million people do die each year, and statistically some of them must have wanted to follow in Swayze's footsteps. On a similar thought, why are there not any more modern horror stories other than the state of the world, the environment, cost of Freddos? Anyway, not those. Where is the myth of the Airbnb account 13? Where is the campfire fairy tale of the tracksuit terror? Where's the fable of the vanishing Wi-Fi? Where is the poem about the Netflix ghost? Right fucking here. I used to live a pretty normal life. A 9-to-5 job, a few hobbies to meet ends. I rented a room with one. I was lucky. But one night as I wandered, weak and bleary, to the bathroom, something seemed strange. TV on, big light off. Are you still watching Netflix? Weird. Then came a weekend with no plans, the dream, time to binge. I skipped over Stranger Things. I wasn't in a spooky mood. Instead, slipping into sleep somewhere of season 3 of Rick and Morty. Awakening to that question, are you still watching Netflix? Dismiss notification, knowing its origin, but what's this? Recently watched. Now you see me. 13 reasons why. 12 years a slave. Chalking it up to a mistake or pranking flatmate, but after 3 days of walking into the same and flatmate's absence since, I decide it's an electrical issue. I start turning off the plug before bed now. It's been a few weeks, but I'm over my little scare. It's some technical glitch, time to get over it. 9 lives. The Hateful 8. 7 psychopaths. Are you still watching Netflix? Do you know what? I do watch too much Netflix. It's time we fix this. Amazon's got some good stuff and could probably use the cash. Cancel membership. This time it wakes me. That startup sound becomes thunder I don't want to check. But I do. American Horror Story Season 6. Scary Movie 5. 4 weddings and a funeral. 3 days to kill. Are you still watching Netflix? I go to cut the cable. It's not plugged in. I snap my phone. I sell my laptop and TV. I purge all technology from my life. It is difficult at first. I become quite the reader. But with perseverance, this simple existence brings me a new life. A job as a woodworker, even a wife, but not a single screen save for the 2-1 win passed through a pub window. It's a sunny Sunday with my son. I'm buried in a book as he enjoys his new toy. The dog says, woof. 2 excited claps, another spin. The cow says, moo. Sometimes I miss media, but I have no regrets. These are my stories now, the ones I read and the ones I'm still writing. The duck says, are you still watching Netflix? Are you still watching Netflix? Are you still watching Netflix? Yes. Thank you so much. I just have one final piece I'm going to leave you with. It's not even really a poem. It's more of a public safety announcement. Because you've all come here to enjoy a night of beautiful poetry. And you cannot trust poets. They are sneaky little things. Crafty creatures that creep fleet-footed into your mind, seeking to rob you of reason through rhythm and rhyme. These silver-tongued sonnet spiders and spinners of smooth silk will shout siren song stories of fantastical fable, fiction, and fate. Twisting truths, these tellers of tall tales can turn insignificant incident into great epic, weaving whimsical words into wondrous worlds, deep diving into oceans to offer you lyrical pearls, such as gravity took control, hope lost as all potential plummeted. In slow motion I watched as the bedrock of my being fell, each spin spelling disaster, somehow symbolic of the cycles of centuries that have brought us here. And the moment ends, leaving only circumstance to save me. I dropped my phone, but it's fine because it landed on a carpet. You see? I just said the same thing twice. Once a bit longer, full of fluff and filler, proof that you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. And while the first way sounds nicer, it is a long way to a simple solution. It's an email asking for an address to send to save the date. It's Googling Bing to search for YouTube. It's a self-help book for reading addiction. You see, poets can make anything sound pleasant as they paint pretty pictures with poetic puppeteer like fingers. Because do you know who else uses these techniques? A cult leader. That's right. They would have you believe they are nothing but pros when they are really all con artists. Don't like this piece. But that's because I'm pulling back the curtain of wool they have pulled over your eyes, revealing the lies and the disguise they use to keep you emotionally mesmerized as they whisper sweet nothings and pickpocket the key that unlocks the gate of truth between you and reality, except when they're not. Then it is unshielded honesty. A soul laid bare before you, begging it brings bigger issue, understanding and attention, using poise and precision to guide you towards their decision. A textbook example of psychological manipulation. They will come, wielding words such as empathy, sympathy, remedy, integrity, constantly promising you richer prosperity. Well, it is a good thing none of us have fallen for that before, have we? So why do poets do it? What do they get other than indoctrination? Is it money, fame, sexual gratification? Well, don't ask poets. They can't keep their stories straight. They all take too long to answer, and each one is different. But a touch of like torture does yield some results. Some said for catharsis, others to be heard, to connect to other people through the power of spoken word. Some said for fun. Others said to break down social boundaries in a society that for too long has marginalized large groups of people just because they are different and who want to work towards a world where we can all just be happy. Liars. The lot of them. Blatant falsities. Just further deception masking true intention. So why do poets do it? I don't fucking know. But I'm getting closer. So until then, if you remember one thing, it's that you cannot trust poets. Except for us, of course. After all, why wouldn't you? I've been Mark Gallie. You've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Poets hate that piece so much. There's no, the most annoying thing, I've been at gigs where Gallie's been like first on and he's done that poem. And then you have to walk up and do like a very sincere piece. And you can just feel people going, yeah, Sure, it's painful. But luckily I don't have to do that this time. Some other chump's problem. And that other chump is one of my dearest friends in the world. He is, like I said, he is one of the OGs of LP. He was there from before it even existed. He has been along for the ride the whole time. He has lended his image to some truly ridiculous videos we've asked him to do. He has, he's battled through it a lot in the last few years to get back on a stage, and it does my heart absolute good to see him on this particular one. So please give the absolute warmest welcome as we welcome back to the stage the fabulous Callum O'Dwyer!
Oi, oi. I might have mentioned it was Valentine's Day this week, this weekend. So I thought I would do, this time sincerely, because my last two would be a little bit silly willies. A phrase that people often use. And do it like a sincere one, like a real love letter. So I hope you all enjoy this to get us kicked off. Dear Aberdeen. Got ya! I don't know why, but this feels a bit weird. The first few versions of this letter lie in my bin with scribbles on with, where the ancient mass of the Grampian Mountains come crashing into the North Sea, and I can feel you through the page, rolling your eyes and wincing in your seat. Unlike your sisters with thick-knit scarves and gaudy kilts of Edinburgh, or the hearts worn on sleeves of Glasgow, you wear your neutral tones deftly. You can be slow to warm to people, but you're the one who does the washing up at the end of a party. So I don't want to embarrass you. I'll start small. But you deserve every overly earnest sentiment this love-struck poet can muster. You grew where two rivers meet. Not Amazons or Colorados, but the Dee and the Don, spilling from mountains over lush land laid flat by Ice Age glaciers. Between them you were carved, block by block from the bedrock, grey granite cut and polished, inlaid in Euclidean lines bridging the hills and troughs. When it rains, the stone is drenched dark like pots of ink, blotting into paper. When the sun shines, it catches the muscovites, and when it's glimmer, diamond-like. And when the clouds come down, when the Har seeps rich in saline through these streets, when the sea soaks into Union Street, when the sky melts into the horizon, I become lost in you all over again. I used to think of you as a fortress to be snuck in and out of on battering ram buses, but you're my first kiss. Maybe more importantly, my first pint. And sometimes I think you're a town on the edge of the world where we venture off the precipice for a living, where money flows until it doesn't. You're scared one day you'll reach over that edge and it will all turn to sand. But I know, with rock surviving ages of ice and fire, you're built to last. Rock standing so long you can see the weight of footsteps sag on the steps to the green, as stone features that used to hold the hands of trams, the shrapnel marks pocked on gravestones. Aberdeen, to put not too fine a point on it, you're as grand as any of them. Maybe not the most decadent fresco. You stand as a Doric column. You'll stand to time, And may I say, if this still isn't too much, you're affa fine, Ken. Is there anyone in the house from Aberdeen? Oh. Well, I've made a friend. So I've just moved down to Edinburgh. I'm from Aberdeen. I did my undergrad here and obviously set up LP. I said set up LP. The cheek, the gall, the gumption. I had a small part in setting up LP, and I've just moved back in, and it's awfully nice. It's very good. So I'm rejoining the Edinburghois, so thank you very much. So this next poem is called Professional Time Waster. It's hard work, passing time quickly, forcing your way upstream, a rising resistance with every step, like you're running in a dream. Or it's like non-Newtonian fluids, okay? It thickens up the more you stress. So don't work so hard. Glide through. With time, you get more doing less. I swill the days in long, lazy circles so they vortex out the bottle. I can't stand living through choking bubbles, juddering gulps, throttling glottal. No, keep meals at set times. Learn how far you can walk. Deploy it as a yardstick. Learn how much you can talk. Let the days fall into the beats like the drums of a known song. A muster picking up your feet. An ode to the lost days gone. If you think this sounds dull, well, this is just a taster. I have been feasting at that buffet. I am the professional time waster. Because I caught the virus. And never got better. Each morning I play a scratch card. The prize is whether I feel 1% less dreadful. And good news, out of 1,423 tries, I've won a handful. But I can't work full time. I wrote this from bed. So I have no choice but to finally dice the minutes until they make me cry. Days ground, fired, pain to glass houses to watch years of sun bleach streak the sky, creasing it like the growing lines on my hands. I watch my muscles shrink like grapes in the sun. I watch spent months burnt whole for a few more chips at the wheel, all in hope. Recovery will be won. This is where this poem is ending. It's only my life to be giving. The stiff rod of hope keeps me going and wasting time. For a living. I have long COVID, the sort of like long-term chronic condition which you get from COVID. So I'm here tonight with, I've got a little bed backstage so I can take a rest in between my poems, sort of for resting and, you know, like shagging. So last year was the first time I started gigging again. So it's a journey, it's a recovery. And I've done a lot to try and raise awareness and stuff, and the people you meet are absolutely incredible, and this is a poem for them, specifically for, dedicated to Jane and Helen. It's called The Campaigner. This is my first time reading this poem. She never asked for this. She wakes up late, feeling the line between muscle and bone. The pain feels worse in the morning. Sitting up isn't easy, but she must. It's not pushing through, it is just borrowing from tomorrow. Again, For now. For this. The weight shifts from shoulder to shoulder, from upper to lower back, hips, core. She logs on and the emails are a mine. They are a quarry. The precious stuff is worth the dig. Another politician has palmed us off. Another volunteer needs some time off. It's cold. Tea and a lie on the sofa, perhaps. If you look at it directly, it's too much. Remember what Karen said once? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. She stares at the ceiling and mentally plans this meal. She sees their faces every night, the people with power to change, but won't. Under the charm, the smiles, the emails, they slice cold contempt and dole out wrapped with ribbons. Who would ask for this life? A beg, a protest, a ladder, some snakes, and a body whose energy is divided by 5. She outlines how a small change here or there could mean treatment, care, dignity, the promise that when you are sick, you'll be seen. She pans through the dirt to find the gold. Dirt like this is too expensive. Dirt like this will cost cancer services. Dirt like this, we think your condition isn't your concern. She pans. She pans. She feels like she's older than she is. The tea has gone cold. She must have nodded off. The winter is stealing the day. She sighs, there is a whole elephant to eat yet. She will keep looking for these flecks of change in heaped currents of swirling water. And on the banks, there are thousands watching her, up past her knees. And they have tears in their eyes. This is almost the last sort of like little long COVID-y poem. I'm writing a pamphlet about this sort of stuff, which is very much the poet sort of thing of being like, oh, the diet starts tomorrow. Like, oh, I'm writing a pamphlet. This is all just, I'm just doing this. But if you see me in a couple of years and I haven't written the pamphlet, don't say a fucking word, all right? But this poem is called Pace. Every night, in the last rounding moments before sleep, I imagine myself running. There was a route near my parents' house, a bracing sprint down a hill and a lung-burning trudge back. I try to remember what it's like. I preserve the details I can remember, crystallize them in the round. How my soles saw stars tingling as they turned the earth, the tough, chewy sinew of the first few minutes, feeling like a car with a cold engine, the aches from the same run yesterday reminding my shins, lungs drawing in nettles, and then it kicks in. That's harder to grasp. I ran a 10K once. To help round out the day, I sometimes listen to my bespoke 10K race day playlist. A treat. I know when Cardi B kicks in, I'm about 40% through, smashing the downhill, feeling so powerful. I ran the fastest 5K in my life with, another half of the race to go. I know when I hit Lady Gaga, I was pushing too hard. I remember overshooting this playlist by a minute. The climax of I'm still standing gave way to silence. I hadn't clicked repeat. Silence ripping the skin off, silence blistering my heel, silence limping my calf, screaming at me I'd done too much, but I remember what crossing that line felt like. I run these circles in my mind, destroying grass, compacting earth. Each time I run a lap, I forget a little bit. A life so light I was not weighed by exertion, a life so free I could run. Foot follows foot, follows foot, follows foot, follows foot, follows foot, follows foot, follows foot. But this body remembers and knows. That push follows push follows push follows push means actually you don't go so fast. Elton John fades into silence. The hours I spend overexerted in bed remind me of tearing a muscle on the West Hill 10K. I'll always want to go faster. The hard part is finding your pace. So I close my eyes and I round out the day to foot follows foot, follows foot, follows foot, follows foot. Thank you. Right, let's rattle through some of the hits, and then I'll fuck off. Yeah, here we go. This is a poem I've been performing for about 12 years, and is it my favorite? The evidence says yes. So here we go. Armstrong. Neil's arms were so strong, he reached out and pinned a flagpole into the surface of the moon, into dust as soft as chalk from a blackboard. His arms, with the American superpower strength of 4.4% of Cold War government spending, had been flung to 385,000 kilometers in a rocket with less processing power than a pocket calculator. If his arms were strong, his mind was fast, stripping quadratic equations apart like phone books, biting into Bernoulli like bacon, tasting the hiss of steam tables. He hopped down the ladder, with feet to the power of E, exponentially expanding one small step into a rather large leap. His eyes scanned the horizon, this monochromed, crated, husky horizon. His eyes flicked up to catch a bright blue, bold world in his pupils. He saw millions of eyes looking back through billions of wormhole television sets. He saw hundreds of countries struggling against each other like bacteria in a petri dish. He studied the gait of America, still limping 9 years after JFK took a bullet, 9 years after he promised a man on the moon. The milky clouds changed to form the face of his wife, his children too. He grimaced with a spark of pain as he read Karen Armstrong, 1960, 1962. He read the forces of history, shook the hand of every man, woman alive. He danced on the shoulders of giants, gave Jesus a high five. And he felt the gravity of the 30th century schoolchild's pen writing in his name to answer 7. Neil Armstrong looked up, raised a camera to his eye and captured a fraction of what he saw. A pale blue dot, skirting in the darkness like a lily on a pond. Neil Armstrong thought he'd feel like a giant, but instead, he felt very, very small. Thank you. Sorry to leave you in the shadows so long, Jack. I'm giving a prompt to Jack for the music, and I'm trying to think. I don't know. I just told him it was Valentine's Day this week, you see. This is my last poem for this evening. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a phenomenal audience, and this is a major step for me to be here, so I really, really thank you. Yeah, I'm supposed to make you cry. That's how this works. This next poem is an ode to health and safety legislation. It's called Red Tape. When the Titanic sank, there were only enough seats on the lifeboats for half the passengers. In a testament to the swagger of the Gilded Age, an unsinkable ship was not required to have enough lifeboats for everyone on board. 62% of first-class passengers survived. 25% of third-class passengers survived. In 1903, at the Iroquois Theatre in Chicago, a fire broke out. Panicked. Rushing to exits, people found locks and bars across doors for the performance. Others tore away decorative exits leading to bare walls, and at the main exit, the doors opened inwards. As the crowd poured, desperation welling up on behind, doors unable to give way, a pressure vessel set to burst, but didn't. 602 people died. And in 1988, an explosion which consumed the Piper Alpha platform oil rig in the North Sea, 120 miles northeast of Aberdeen. 167 workers perished. From each of these, from the wrecks and ashes grew shoots of minimum lifeboat requirements for all ships, proper fire doors, in the North Sea, one of the strongest safety cultures in the world. The workers, the punters, the third-class passengers, their blood has been woven into thread and rolled into red tape. Written into every subclause of every health and safety legislation are human souls. The words, "lest we forget," bleed from the page. The red tape is a barrier which stops our workers falling into their machines. The red tape keeps your food poison-free. The red tape is battery-backed strip lighting and in-flight safety announcements. The red tape is safe heart transplants. The red tape is crumple zones, 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, seatbelts, airbags. The red tape is the thin red line between life and death. The red tape is the joy that we can live and work without the threat of careless neglect. In 2013, the then Prime Minister promised to end the culture of health and safety for good. It was reported as a bonfire of red tape. And I think of Grenfell Tower, the boundaries of home, the fabric of life turned to lighter fluid by flammable cladding. A legacy of systematic neglect stacked 24 stories high, consumed in an inferno of red tape. A column of smoke hundreds of miles long and thousands of years wide. Lives turned to ash time and time again in the ember pits of loopholes. And I know if we do not weave our red ribbons into vast safety nets, the first class will get the seats on the lifeboats. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, we have come to our final poet of the evening. Which means we have one more poet this evening. We like to introduce our final poet in a very specific way here at Loud Poets. We like to do the loud rumble. So I want to hear those feet tapping. I want to hear hands on knees. I want to hear those hands slowly coming together. I want the noise to build, to get louder, to raise the roof. Go fucking mental for Katie Ailes!
Last night, I spat your name into a room of good people. a mouthful of ash coughed out as a warning to avoid your cruel burn. And none of them knew who you were. 9 years later, you are good as gone, less than embers as I stand here in my own brilliant light. You have been forgotten. I survived. Cheers. Thank you guys so much. This set may be in part an exercise in Katie not crying. I have so many emotions going through me right now, and the main one is gratitude. Gratitude for all of you for being here over the past 10 years, or I know some of you, it's your very first show. Tonight's been a lot. Thank you for coming. If it is your very first Loud Poets show, I am so grateful for this community. I'm gonna stay in a more somber place for this next poem, but then I promise I will uplift you for the end of my set. I want to mark an anniversary that happened on Sunday. This past Sunday was the 1-year anniversary of the killing of Brianna Jai, the trans teenager, 16-year-old girl in Warrington. And this poem that I'm going to share is an elegy for her that I wrote the week of her funeral. So content warning here for transphobia and for death. We are living in a time when trans people and gender non-conforming people are being demonized, are being vilified, are the butt of jokes that the Prime Minister is creating. We are living in a scene where there are poets in this scene who show up and do what they do and express themselves and get hate online for it. There are poets in the scene who feel like they cannot access certain spaces that are designed for them. And I want to make it incredibly clear that bullshit is not welcome at Loud Poets spaces, that it is not welcome in the Scottish spoken word scene. That it is our honor to continue platforming and supporting and advocating for those poets. Brianna Jai, from everything I can tell, was an artist who made fantastic TikToks and particularly was really interested in makeup. And I wish that we had gotten to see more of her gift. So this is for Brianna Jai. Jack, soft hope. For Brianna Jai. May the coroner blush your cheeks bubblegum pink. May she brush on that flush of giggly excitement, the color of being asked to dance by your crush or having just been pinched by your gran, in whose eyes you are still a child, which you are, you were. May the coroner softly daub lilac onto your eyelids, her touch steadier, more delicate perhaps than yours when you kneeled in front of your bedroom mirror practicing camouflage, imitating YouTube videos, dabbing bright blue powder onto your eyelids with your middle finger until 2 electric bruises stared back and you were shocked by your own face. May she tint your lips that perfect shade of first kiss, a nibbled pink, a rosy bliss. May she line your eyes with liquid ink, flicking her wrists the same way you did. Not a stencil of a girl, but the real thing. Penciling yourself in, illustrating your truth in indelible jet. May she fill in your brows a light honey brown. Those thin lines you tweezed, one bristle at a time, trying to tease a curve from the unruly thicket, then leaning back squinting, trying to see if you were woman yet. If you'd gotten it right, that impossible alchemy everyone would surely recognize, so they would see you as you are already, for you are already woman. Or rather, you would have been in a few years. But at 16, we're still kids. Still growing into it, still on the cusp of it, still growth spurts and PE kits, still playing dress up in our mother's skins, stealing their pearls and hanging those gleaming ropes around our necks. At 16, we are fumbling in changing rooms with our changing shapes, badly shaving our legs, patting our bras full of socks, tottering like toddlers in too high heels, tipsy with youth and trying to grow up way too fast, and you did. You did. So may each stitch of makeup the coroner paints on your skin be a delicate calligraphy of welcome. Welcome. Welcome, sister, into the club to which you already belong. You bundled bud of woman in a world set against you blooming. May she paint you soft and full, a burst of petals, a gorgeous fuchsia twirl. May she paint you exactly as you were, as girl, as girl, as girl. Cheers. Thank you guys so much. You have just been the most amazing audience. I've just got sort of two more pieces for y'all tonight, one longer and one quite short. And this next piece, I rarely get to do, and it is such a treat to do because it is a piece that Jack and I co-wrote. I think, yeah, like 7 years. Time is funny. I think it was 2016 that we did it. Which is 8 years. Anyway, we were part of this project which paired up musicians and poets, and we wrote this piece. It is called Calluses. I hope you enjoy. Growing up, my childhood was tuned to the twang of my dad's guitar. Each afternoon, he'd play to the grand stage of our living room, running the daily scales up and down the walls of our small house again and again like painting a base coat. In the whirling kaleidoscope of childhood, it was a rhythm to anchor to, a constant 4/4, familiar and warm. He introduced me to the classics, Dylan, Baez, and always old Mr. Bojangles, and I'd dance, trying to click my heels just like the song said. I'd steal his picks and squirrel them away in my room, a crazy groupie worshiping him like some domestic Bon Jovi in worn-out shoes. One day he gave me his tuning fork and let me run around the house banging it against any surface I thought needed sounding. I loved its buzz. His fingertips were always so rough, the skin toughened from decades of strumming. Touching them made me gasp. It was like he had mystical lizard skin, like the music had made him magic, and I knew I wanted the spell to catch. As I grew older, I'd beg him to teach me to play just like him. So, patiently, he'd set me the simple homework of A, C, and G. Just those 3 chords, he said, again and again until the music could take root in my fingers, the sound made into muscle. But I could never sit still long enough to plant it there. I'd get bored too quick. I wanted instant talent more than the chore of picking out chords each day. I thought I could just vault on stage, ready-made for soaking in praise, my teenage ego throbbing to the applause. Normally people don't applaud at that. That's great. But I soon learned it wasn't magic that had toughened my dad's hands. Before too long, I'd let too many practice sessions slip for calluses to ever bloom on my fingertips. I've still never learned to play. My dad was born into a blue collar. Working from the age of 15, he trained himself to rise at 5 each day to work double shifts on minimum wage, so dreams of being a full-time artist were never really in the cards. He's never graced major stages, never even played outside our home, but fame was never the point for him. He preferred the slow constancy of A, C, and G, of learning the basics, then building on those small victories, finding pleasure in practice. He mastered the craft of finding art in the cracks between real-life obligations, his job, his family. He always made time to tune. And really, music wasn't some flashy distraction, but the glue, holding it all together. For my family, those evening melodies were a steady beat in a discordant world. And maybe most wouldn't call my dad an artist. Sure, he's never toured or been paid to play, but he taught me never to wait for someone else to give you that name, to be creative. Last winter, my dad retired. After 50 years in the workforce, he's finally free to sleep in, breathe easy, do nothing if he pleases. But he still rises at 5 each day, starts tuning that guitar. He's taking up bluegrass lessons on Tuesdays, practices all week. I love that after 50 years twanging the tongue of the same instrument, he can still find joy in its voice, draw new sounds from its mouth. I suppose it's because he knows the language so well, has slowly molded its vocabulary into his hands. I hope I too can find the patience to build the alphabet into my teeth before I try to speak too fast. Last time I was home, I told him, someday, we should write something together. Not yet, though. Right now, we're both still learning. Jack Hinks, everyone! Guys, I have one tiny thing to say and to read before we go. I have been working on this ode to friendship, which was going to be the end of my set, and I devoted time to working on it this week. And then on Sunday, ended up spending all day in the ER, A&E. We're in Scotland. In A&E with Bex. And so much of this week has been doing the actions of friendship rather than writing about it. So I do not have that poem for you. But what I do have is a profound sense of gratitude. I came to Scotland in 2014 as a lonely, scared, very innocent American. And I found a home, I found a family, I found a community. And Loud Poets has been that for me. And it would not be possible without all of you. So I am so grateful for all of that. And I was trying to think of what to do instead of that piece that I did not write. And I found the words in Bex's work. This is the last stanza of her poem for Fringe and Friends. Most of it is a tirade against C venues. Yes, but the last stanza I think sums it up. So this is Bex Bidgood. This poem's gone way off the post. It wasn't meant to be a roast. Let's take a second and reflect. Acknowledge those who've earned respect. For poets out to share their souls, for actors not in starring roles, for dancers sometimes off the beat, for those who showcase on the street, for everyone behind the scenes, for those fulfilling all their dreams, for flyers out in the cold, for every seat that wasn't sold, for No Star Show with 5-star cast. Join me now and raise your glass. For now this show is at an end. I'd like to toast to you, my friends. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you so much for coming along. As I was saying in the preamble, we're going to be doing stuff this year. It might not be as ready to roll out as we would have liked. It might be a bit chaotic, but there is stuff coming. We are kicking off the Slam series, like I said. We're going to be at Stanza. If you can make it up to St. Andrews for Stanza, please go. Ryan Van Winkle's taken over as artistic director there. He is going to put on an awesome festival, including the first heat of the Slam. In March, we're going to be up at Central Hall with Tinderbox. Tickets are on sale now. If you want to check that out, please do. We are going to be back here in April doing the Central Slam heat. If you're interested in taking part, which you should be, because there's a 200 quid cash prize for the regional heat, and then a $3,000 cash prize if you qualify for the finals and go on and win. So I'd absolutely recommend doing it. If you want to see what those slams are like, or a bunch of other amazing spoken word, jump on the YouTube channel. Go and check it all out. We are desperately trying to get over 4,000 watch hours in a 365-day period, because then YouTube will give us a tiny bit of money. So if you just want to go home and whack on a playlist and let that shit run, that's fine by me. Totally cool. If you want to watch some of it, that's better, sure. But by no means essential. So please consider that. Sign up to the mailing list. Continue to support spoken word, whether it's Loud Poets or one of the other amazing organizations. Wherever you are in Scotland, whatever you're doing, if you're in Edinburgh, there is a ton of incredible spoken word going on. Please seek it out. If you don't know where to, come and have a chat with us. We will point you in the direction of a million amazing artists and a bunch of wonderful nights that are happening. If you want to take part, if you want to raise your voice, write something down, speak it to a room, then please come and talk to us. We would love to hear what you have to say, because I've been saying shit for 10 years and everyone's fucking done, eh? So for now, guys, can I just get a huge round of applause for our long-suffering techie in the booth, 10 years, Mr. Roddy! In fact, Roddy has been with us 10 years and has seen probably more poetry than any technician in Scotland. I don't know what he did in a past life, but he's been stuck with me in this one. And I said to him, I didn't even remember I said this. I came in today and we're doing some techie stuff, and he was like, do you remember what you said to me? I was like, I say a lot of shit to you, Roddy. Most of it unrepeatable. And he was like, well, I did it. I was like, I still don't know what you're talking about. It turns out a couple of 18 months to 2 years ago, I was like, Roddy, when are you going to do a poem? And I was like, you should do it for the 10th anniversary. Every poem in the room going, haikus count. They absolutely count. So yeah, that is Roddy. He's been with us since the fucking beginning. Love him dearly. Can we get a huge round of applause for the spectacular Mr. Jack Hinks? I have known many musicians, and I've never known one who would take a back seat. That is a special skill in and of itself, Jack. He has spent 8.5 years making other people's work more beautiful. And as an artist, to see the worth in what someone else does and be able to contribute without overriding, that is a spectacular skill to have. I laugh about it a lot, but not many people can do what Jack Hinks does. So give him some love. The guy who came up with the fucking name started it all, me, him, and a bunch of other people drunk, smoking something in a shitty flat somewhere, getting way too excited about our big ideas. And look at us now. Can we get a huge round of applause for the spectacular Callum O'Dwyer? We are only as good as the stages that allow us, and just in terms of the Storytelling Centre, I spoke a bit about my personal connection to this room. Like, without this building supporting us for 10 years, we don't get to do the amazing things we would do. The amount of poets I have brought to this stage who go, fucking wow, this is not a room that most poets get to experience. Places like this, a beautiful theatre full of beautiful people with the sound set up, with the tech set up, all of that stuff. And the programming that goes on here. I have to give a special shout to Dan Abercrombie, who took a risk on us, who put us in that fringe program with no idea what the fuck we were doing, who came back the next year and offered us a better deal. What a fucking guy. And to... Please never tell him. But year after year, the Storytelling Centre have thrown their weight behind us, have given us the support, given us the love, and allowed us to provide a stage that most poets would never get to experience otherwise. So a big round of applause for the Storytelling Centre. And just, there have been a lot of people over the years that have come and gone through Loud Poets, and every one of them I love for what they contributed. For every single person who spent any time organising, fucking driving long distance for us, setting up chairs in shitty basement bars, bringing us spare kit when they have it, taking fucking photographs and videos for years and years and years and years, Perry. For all of that work, for everyone that's done it, they will always have a special place in my heart, but no one more so than Bex, who could not be here tonight. We miss her, we love her, she will be back soon. Katie and Mark, those people have saved my life 1,000,000 times over. I love them dearly. Please give them the biggest round of applause in the world. This has been 10 years of my life. I wouldn't trade it for a second. This has been Loud Poets. You guys, and everyone else in the last 10 years has been fucking amazing. There is no show without an audience. Thank you so much for being our audience. I love you all, and we will see you at some point, no doubt, for the next 10. I have been Kevin Mclean. We'll see you again. Good night!